Good evening, folks. Can I just get a few participants to raise their hand just to make sure everyone can hear me perfectly okay? If you have your hand raised as well, you can just click the button and put it down again if that's okay. Okay, so you're all very welcome to the third webinar series for Cavan Coaching and Games. It's Jack Wharton speaking here. I'm be handing over to in a couple of minutes to Andy McGovern as well to go through the presentation. So this evening's presentation, like the last two, will be focusing on the player pathway series. So this evening is primarily focusing on under 12s and under 13s. In week one, we would have had under 7s up to under 9s. That was delivered by Aidan McCabe and Andy McGovern. Week two, last Monday night, we had under 9s through under 11s, delivered by Chris Conroy and Dan Wharton. And now week three, we have under 12s and under 13s. So Andy McGovern and myself, Jack, will be running us through tonight. So maybe at the very end, we'll take questions just so we can get a good flow through the presentation. And don't be afraid to write a couple of bits down if you have questions for the end. We'll stay all night if we have to go through them. So just a bit, the outcomes of today's, moving on. Just 1 second. Okay, so the outcomes of today's workshop, sorry about that now. Number one, we're going to start off with the GA player pathway and also the GA total player performance model. Okay, so Andy will discuss through more in depth when we move on to it. And also number two, we're going to go through some sample age appropriate coaching sessions and the GA activity planner as well before we finish off. Some of you may be already familiar with that, some won't, but it's just a useful tool to have for training or planning out your session beforehand. Okay, I'm going to pass you over to Andy now, and he'll take us through the next part.
Thanks, Jack. Cheers. Okay, right, folks. So I presume we have coaches here that are over your under 13s, dealing with 12, 13-year-olds. So as Jack said last week, we kind of touched on the age group under 10s and 11s. So this week it's the 12 and 13. So if you look at the wee slideshow here, we're looking at 12, 13-year-old here, early teenage years. So your squad are probably coming from last year playing bits of go games there, non-competitive stuff, bits of blitzes, challenge games, probably more coaching than else, the odd blitz here and there. And now, as you can see there, they're looking at a stage now, they're learning to compete. So again, club sessions are still taking place. That's your training. County games program as well. So be it under 13 league, under 13 championship will be taking place throughout the year. There's a good chance they're probably in first year now as well too. Second level games going on. And also through coaching and games here, we would organise super game centres as well here. Probably not as competitive, maybe bringing clubs together in a region, just playing off games for an hour and a half over the course of the evening or morning. It's just, just pure football, I suppose. Yeah, that's really what it is. Like, just kind of loads of game, and then of course, then at probably 13 years of age, with a view to looking at them at under 14 level in our squads here, our academy squads. So there's probably quite a lot going on for them there now at the minute. At that age group, as I said, they're coming from under 11s, not as competitive, and there's probably more of a workload on now for them. So trying to manage that as well too. So they're playing to learn first of all. Now they're playing there. There's leagues, there's championships, there's cups on the table as well too. So that's just where they're coming from now. Early teenage years. So if we kind of skip on here, I suppose as coaches in our clubs, like, what are we kind of looking for? Like, what is the key? Is the key actual development? Do we look down the road of from kind of week one, we had them at 7, 9, moving them on then to 11 to 13 to whatever next week to 15 to senior. Is there a wee journey there for us? Are we still concentrating on our own wee age group, just doing our own wee thing, putting our head down? Are we following the course of the road? So what is journey for that player? So that's what we're here for tonight as well. Leading on from last week, so Jack had the boys there last year at 10 years of age. Well, do I know what they had done last year? So Jack's handing them over to me. What's the next part of that journey? Okay. And what do we do? Like, I mean, is it all about Jack there will say, at his age group there, under 10 or even under 11, is his main goal. They're winning every game they play all year. Every Blitz we play, be it whatever in Cornafane or Killygarry, going to beat every team. And maybe only using a handful of players. Is that the real aim of the club? So I suppose you would have seen your own clubs there, like, players do develop at different rates. And we, as the coach, must be aware of that on the actual player's journey. So I'm sure you can think of players in your own club there that are senior players maybe now that would have played under 7, 9, 11, 13, and maybe weren't that good, and suddenly, they got bigger, they got stronger, they put more effort into their skills and are probably one of your better senior club players now. And that it's also with kind of counties as well there too, like the Dublin lads there that have won Sam Maguire's now, maybe even made their own minor team, so every player does develop at different stages. So probably what we'd often see there around schools as well too is that, like, a young lad at 10 years of age or 11 or 12 or 13 that is very skillful, okay, maybe hasn't got the right attitude, but is very skillful, a great player in his age group, where, as Jack here beside me, maybe, wants to learn, wants to train the whole time, has a great attitude, but just isn't that kind of skillful. He has probably more scope to maybe kind of, go further on his journey there, and more scope to develop as well too. So as coaches, we have to be kind of wary of that as well too. Okay. So just moving on there again. Sorry, we glitch here. Moving here. Just the next slide here again. Sorry, now there seems to be stuck in one here. Okay, so this is a wee model here called TPP. Okay, Total Playing Performance Model. 6 elements to it. A few wee glossy terms in it. Technical proficiency. So what we mean by that there, just trying to get this working here again, is by our skills really. Tactical prowess and decision making. That's is what it is, I suppose. Probably what we're talking about there is like maybe when to move, where to move, when to pass, where to pass. Team play, obviously, you're working as a weak team, okay, and learning maybe how to defend as a team or how to move forward as a team. Physical fitness, different types of physical fitness, like our running, stuff that we can maybe be doing at home as well too. Stuff like that. Even sure, are we small city games as well too, and that should there be psychological focus actually, not physiological, and participation feedback. Okay, so sometimes we use, sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's probably not good to use it. Maybe asking some lads' opinions, but it's probably more to get feedback are the players listening to you, and trying to make it as positive as kind of possible as well too. So there are the 6 different areas here. We look at in our wee model here. So we've gone on to the next slide here. A lot going on in this slide here, so there's now. So the 4 different areas again: technical, tactical, physical fitness, team play, and the centre there, psychological focus. So basically, with our skills there, I suppose at this age group, you want your players, okay, fairly proficient both sides. That's the whole thing here. Be it kicking, be it handling, be it movement, tackling. They should be able to now maybe right hand, right foot, left foot. And look, there's going to be loads of mistakes. And, tell your players that in your session, it's okay to make mistakes. That's how you learn, I suppose then if they aren't making mistakes, then they kind of probably won't try that in a real game. We'll say, if they're not being taught that, if they're not making the mistakes, you can kind of spot and fix it in the session. Look, the kick pass is always going up in the air because you're pointing your toe up in the air. And probably they won't try that in a game if that's not talked through them in an actual session. It's spot and fixed. So look, there will be loads of that there. We things there that probably wouldn't have done before, we sidestep or feint, bits of tackling probably wouldn't have been worked on that much, we'll say it under 9, under 11. You're probably starting as a coach to go into all them areas here now. So they've done all the fundamentals, they're very confident in the ball, on their strong side. It's time maybe to move on a wee bit again, and all these wee skills here as well too. So I suppose, as the coach here as well, do you know your players on the left-hand side there? Like, are your sessions well organised? Are they planned? And they're probably starting to come to an age group now that they can see, look, is this fella here organised? Is he planned? Is he picking up cones after every drill, setting up in a corner again? If I was working with Jack there, taking the 13s tonight, we would know exactly who's doing what from the warm-up to the end of the session. If it's a handling drill, first of all, or it's a wee game, then your handling drill, you're kicking, I'm taking that, Jack's taking that, and your whole session is well laid out and organised. Okay, and there's a flow to it. You know, it's not stop-start the whole time. I suppose on the right-hand side there, the coaching environment. So really, I suppose you wouldn't want a situation that you have maybe 20 players there, maybe one coach. You know, so to even what I said there about spotting and fixing, you know, it should be a minimum ratio, probably 1 to 10. You know, there's only so much that you can see as a coach there, walking around, spotting and fixing. You know, if I have help there of Jack and Dan and Aidan and Chris there as well too, we're in a corner each. You know, we can even do one-on-one coaching, 1 to 2 coaching. Okay, there's a ball between 1 and 2. You know, it makes sense, more touches. You know, like sometimes we can plan a session and we don't really plan for numbers. You know, we've 7, 8 behind the cone. You know, are your players getting as much off that session as possible? You know, waiting 2 or 3 minutes for a wee hand and drill or a pass, you know, it's probably not good. But we always probably say, like, within your session, if you're 45 minutes or 1 hour, your kids there should be getting hundreds of touches on the ball. So if you can imagine a session there with a ball between 1, a ball between 2, and do the same session the following week with 7, 8 behind the cone, you know, you'd be doing 4 or 5 of them sessions the following week that would, you know, be imitating the one you done with the ball between 2, because there's not as many touches in the ball. Okay, and that's how to learn, that's how to improve. So with that top right corner again, with the tactical, I know sometimes you think of tactical, it's like kickouts or stats, that kind of thing, and whatever. It's not really. It's about, you know, really basic. It's all about decision making. You know, telling kids, maybe coaching them when to move, where to move. Are you making space for a fella beside you? Are you moving into a space? That at that age is about tactics and about, you know, just learning that as well, rather than going into full depth about kick-out strategies and that sort of thing. Okay, so that at that age, that's their kind of tactical prowess then. So team play as well there in the bottom right. Even look, working as a team, being vocal. You know, even being able to, you know, create space up front as a team in possession, and maybe the opposite then. Okay, how do we defend as a team? You know, what's your role here? So you're playing half back today. You know, well, when we don't have the ball, then you're marking your man, you stay in goal side. You're working as a team. You're making your side of the field is covered. So Jack's over there covering the far side of the field. Basic stuff, working as a team and being vocal as well too. Okay, and I suppose all that happens through there is through our games and training. So you see there on the right hand side, through our 5v5 games or 7v7, 9v9, and probably max there 10 or even 11 aside is probably maximum at that age group. So again, we all know why. Like, it's touches on the ball again. You know, we're staying away from our 15 aside here. You know, we've all seen there different clips and videos of a young lad playing cornerback, corner forward, and probably sees 1 or 2 touches over the hour. You know, he's not influencing the game because it's so many bodies around. Whereas if your session was planned out and organised properly, you could have 3 or 4 pitches going. So like, people often ask, well, geez, I've got 36 here for training. How am I going to manage that, Andy? What am I going to do here? Look, it's very simple. Have 3 pitches, 5 aside, 6 aside. You know, alternate them, okay? And they're going to get far more touches in the ball. And what often happens is too, you know, the weaker kids even, they get more involved in the game because they know they have a chance of actually getting on the ball as well too. Whereas a weaker lad in a 15-a-side game, he knows, do you know what, I might not bother moving here because there's a fairly slim chance I'm actually going to get on the ball here. You know, and you as a coach, you know, stand back and, you know, if you want the ball, well, you all want the ball moved on quickly, limit touches in the ball. Okay, now for the next 2 minutes, no touch. Maybe the next 5 minutes again, okay, 1 touch max. Getting them to move on the ball the whole time, okay? So you want the ball to move quick, not letting the dominant fella be on the ball the whole time. That's why we have actually have our 2 touch now as well too at the age group. You know, and they develop more as well too. So that's our wee team play there. Physical fitness there in the bottom left. So I suppose we're not talking here about doing laps of the field here. We're not talking about doing sprints over and back. This can be done through our games as well too. Through our bits of games, through our drills. You know, if it's done at pace and it's done, we'll say, with, you know, limited numbers behind the cone, they should be working on their fitness there as well too. Okay. As well there too, I suppose, you know, and stuff that can be maybe done at home as well. You know, we've our push exercise, or pull exercise, or squats, or lunges, you know, bits of leapfrogs. Then we move as well too. That's working on our physical fitness as well too. We would stress though, as coaches, you know, like, you know, it's probably not a good idea just to hand the fella a program there of bits of squats, lunges, let him go off himself and do it. You know, we have to look at basic technique as well too, because sometimes it can cause more, you know, like more harm than good. I often see fellas doing squats and stuff like that, and they're bending their back and their feet are all over the place. So it is very important to, if we're handing out something, we have stuff on it, we can maybe send you on it, the proper technique is crucial as well too, okay? But it is a form and it does develop them as well too, definitely. Running as well, obviously said about maybe, running laps, the field and stuff like that day is gone. We can do that through our little games and drills, learn to, run, to stop, to start, slowing down as well, decelerate. It's important as Anthony as well too. So all that can be brought into your session as well too. And all this feeds around the centre here, psychological focus. I suppose getting our players to think, getting them to be aware, why are we working on something? Why are we doing this here? And look, I suppose no harm the odd time, look for feedback. Okay, I suppose you'd be trying to limit it too, so you don't have the same fella talking the whole time and stuff like that. And maybe, your feedback coming that you don't really want to hear, but even feedback like, lads, do you know what I'm talking about here? Or what are we working on there? Or what's going well there? Or what can we improve on? And they'll tell you the answer, but it gets them just thinking, so not just the whole time saying, yeah, and you're doing the whole talking. So again, the player is kind of crucial here as well on the left-hand side. What I said again, like all players do develop, all differently. You have your 6 foot something under 13 and then you have your 5 foot something as well too. But, time comes and that young lad catches on with the 6 foot fella. So all develop, at different stages. So it's not probably good as well to concentrate on that 6 foot fella either the whole time. Okay. Confidence too might be a wee barrier as well. So, maybe how you select your sessions too, maybe how you actually talk to, your 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds are using positive language. Like they feed off all that as well too, obviously. Okay. A wee compliment here and there. That was a great wee catch there, Jack. It was a great block. You're flying. Like you mightn't be scoring much, you mightn't be doing whatever, but one or two things that he is doing and he will feed off that. No doubt about it. Okay. So we move on again. So games-based coaching. So the probably old model probably was like, okay, we'll do a warm-up for 10, 12 minutes. We get that done. We get our stretch done. We'll do 30 or 40 minutes of drills. So Jack, you do a heap of hand pass drills there. Dan's going to do a heap of kick pass drills. And we play a wee game at the end. That was the old model. Okay. So you all know yourselves here. Kids want games. They want to play football. So what we would say is now, okay, use your warm-up there and maybe incorporate something in your warm-up that you want to work on throughout that session as well too. So look, for instance, it could be like a near hand tackling, okay, that wasn't so good last week. In your warm-up there, you could play, I don't know, a little game of TIG or whatever it is, or tag or monkey's tail thing that is focusing, even though we're getting warmed up, is focusing on near hand going in, tipping or tagging as well. Okay, getting, the wee hip close to your partner's hip as well, getting close to tackle, that sort of thing. We would then recommend then, okay, straight away, go into a game. Go into a game. So see there, play the game. So again, that can be a 7v7, it can be an 8v8, 10v10, okay, if you want to have two pitches, whatever it is, play the game. Okay, 7, 8, 10 minutes, whatever it is, stop the game. Right, lads, what's working well here? What's not going so well? Well, you know what? Our kick passing, lads, there wasn't pretty good there. For the next 5, 10 minutes here, Dan and Jack here, they have a couple of wee drills here, focusing on the kick pass. So proper technique. And lads, when we get that done properly now, lads, okay, when we see it is getting a wee bit better, we go back to our game. So, look, Everett might be grand, you know what I mean? They might all be moving well, kicking well, tackling well, play away. But in that game, if you're sitting back watching it with your fellow coaches, do you know what, Jack? The kick pass is not so good there. We maybe freeze this here for a wee minute. We get a wee drill there. Do you know what, Dan? The tackling might be so good there either. We maybe do a wee bit of that as well. Then go into a game. And we're telling them why we're doing this here. Why we're after freezing the game. And then hopefully, after that wee bit of work on that there, in a wee little drill or whatever it is, back into a game. And hopefully you should see some sort of improvement in as well too. Okay? So it's fueling the will, it's making them think, and you're fixing the skill as well too. Okay, that makes sense? Yeah, come on again now. Okay, so we're literally flying through this here. Okay, so on our planner on the learning.ga, so as again I said, it's so important. Okay, have your sessions planned, be organised. Don't go down to the pitch in whatever Killygarry or Cornwall Fane or Lavey, wherever it is, and at 5 to 7 you're saying to the lads here, right, what we do today. Okay, players feed off that. So on our planner here, you see 4 different squares here, 4 different sessions here, 4 different little drills here. Okay, so might first of all, we play this wee game here, keep ball. Okay, might then play a hand pass game in pairs, a zigzag pass, and a skill wee little game at the end as well. Okay, and that's coming from learning.ga, okay, the activity planner. So what I will always say is, like, if you're working with a wee group of coaches there, okay, there's 3 or 4 of you, before each session, if it's the night before or even that day, whatever it is, that every person knows in that management group what we're doing tonight. And that's sent on through a wee WhatsApp, okay, or through an email, whatever it is. Here's our session tonight, lads. So maybe, Jack, you might take the first one there, okay? That's a nice wee game there. That'll get them going there, whatever. We warm up there as well. You know, the hand pass mightn't be so good in there, so maybe break them off there and pairs working the hand pass, okay? It's a great resource to use. So we'll see now in a couple of seconds here now, pictures, videos, talk you through it. But the point I'm trying to make is here that before you go down to your pitches here, you're organised and everyone knows what's happening. So it's not stop-start, the session flows, and it's so easy to read, so easy to set up, okay? And we'll just maybe show you that here now. So bear with me for a second, I'm just going to go into the learning.ga here online and show you exactly how to set it up. Okay, that should pop up here in a second now. Okay, can you all see that now? I think you can, yeah. Okay, so we're on this here, it's learning.ga. Now this is a fierce resource here, and it's probably something that we don't use enough as coaches here. Like, this will outline your session for you, okay? So if you haven't, okay, signed up to the page yet, there's a wee tab here, register. You can register on it, we are already registered on it, but click on that there, it'll take you through a few little things, your name, blah, 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 where you're from, set it up. So I'm just going to log in here now. I'm going to log in here under Jack's here now. So we'll log in. Okay. Now, so on this here, okay, on the top tab here, GA Course Planner, e-portfolio here. If we go into Planner here, this is just slow enough now. Now, and as you can see here, in our planner, you've got your hurling, football, handball, rounders. We're just going to football here. Okay, and there's literally hundreds of stuff here. Little games, drills, condition games, whatnot. So I just want to first of all create a session, okay? So in the wee little blue tab here, if you click here, sessions. Okay. Now, okay, let's actually go back here, sorry. I'm just going to add a session here first, sorry. Okay, so if I just go into the age group here, first of all, so dealing with 12 or 13 year olds. Right, I wouldn't mind seeing maybe first of all a wee condition game for maintaining possession. So that's the hop and solo. That'll give me all the games here for that here. Okay, now there's only 2 at the minute. Okay, well maybe go into a different one. Actually, it's a bad probably example here. I'll go into gaining possession maybe here. Okay, let's go into football here, sorry. Right, so there's a wee game here, captain ball here. I click on that here. And that talks me through all how to set it up, how to organize it, okay, how to play it. So I'm going to add this coaching session. I like to look at that here. I'm going to add it to my wee folder here. So it says here new session. I'm going to create this new session. So what today is Tuesday, so it's another 13 session for Tuesday the 27th of October. Okay. Right, if I want to here, I can put down wee games here. Okay, I can put down wee notes here. Right, okay, so this works on movement, handling, whatever you want to put down here, in your own words, whatever you want. Okay, I can save this here. So that's automatically saved. Okay, if I go back here now again, right, what else do I want to work on here maybe tonight? Contesting possession. Okay, so I'll work on actually our tackling wasn't so good the last day here. So near hand tackling. Give me a couple of games for that here as well. So here we go, near hand tackling, wee grade here. Yeah, I like to look at that one there. A ball between 2, man coming down the channel, a man about 10 metres away getting near hand in. Yeah, I'll definitely add that one to it. Add this to my coaching session here as well. So you can already see what I've added here, my under 13 one here, Tuesday 27th. I click into that there. That has added it along with my other one here. So I can just, whatever notes I want to use here, 1v1 tackling. So, let's see, working on a proper technique, we'll say. Whatever you want to put down here, basically. in your own words. Like to look at that. I'm going to save that. I'll just do one more here so you can see the printout in a few minutes. Let's do one more here. So I might do an advanced drill this time. Gain the possession. The crouch lift. Now some of these have videos with them as well too, and some don't. This one might have video with it. Actually does, isn't it? Hope this plays now. Okay, it might play for me, yeah. So some of them have videos, some don't. So it's easy to see maybe if you can't maybe understand some sort of setup there, we'll say the way cones are arranged.
This is an advanced drill to practice the crouch lift. It requires the players to contest the ball with them. Divides the players into
Yeah,
pairs.
I talked you through it. Sure, the ball between two as well. Okay. So that's perfect, yeah. So I'm going to add that one as well. I'll just leave it at that, maybe so to add this one here. So there's my session here again. Okay, I know what it is. I'll just save it. Okay, I think that saved it. Okay. Now, so in my sessions here now, I click up here again. Choose the 13th or choose the 27th even. Okay. So I can actually view that session here in a properly or print it out. So print/view session. And it should come up here now. Yeah. So it should load here now. So that should come up now, whatever I've saved here. Yeah, session 1, 2, and 3. That's the 3 of them there now. They're all one underneath each other and print them out. So again, that's our session. So if I was working with Jack there tomorrow, right, Jack, I'm going to send you on that there. You can send it on there through email or whatever, or WhatsApp or whatever, and send it on, and we both know what's happening for that session there. Okay. So look, that's a wee resource there, something that we probably don't use enough. It's just to be organised, be planned, and that's for all the age groups there. Like, so you can literally pick and choose there what you want to do there, and there's any amount of ideas. I suppose what we probably don't do enough is, sometimes we just do sessions for the sake of doing a session, like, okay, tonight we'll just, we'll do a hand pat drill, kick pass drill, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We'll fill the 45 minutes. Whereas really at this age group now, they are playing games now, lots of games, leagues, championship, under 13, player challenge games. What I would always say is, after a game, what needs to be worked on? Do you know what, Jack, there, our shooting was terrible tonight. Well, next Tuesday night, we got to make sure we do load of shooting drills, because I see the technique is all wrong there. Our lads are constantly leaning back there in the shot, and the ball's skewing left, right, and centre. Whereas their stand there, if he gets his head down there and hooks his foot around the ball, far better chance of scoring. So what I'm really saying is, lads and ladies here, is, whatever you're doing, whatever session you're doing, there's a reason for doing it. So lay it out. We're doing this tonight because it has to be worked on. Okay. That's really all. Look, it's short and sweet presentation. I'm just wary of leaving time for questions at the end. So people that wouldn't have seen it before or in the presentation, you might maybe want to ask any sort of questions, queries at all. If you want to raise your hand there, and we'll maybe give a shout out if there's any questions at all there. And there's a good chance if you are thinking something, there's probably 4 or 5 people maybe thinking the same. So don't be afraid to shout out. Yeah, and obviously, if your question to ask, obviously turn your mic on, obviously, and you raise your hand if you want to as well. Don't be afraid to shout now. Declan, is it? Declan Galligan? No. Maybe just shout anyone that wants it.
Andy.
Yep.
Zemer here. Sorry, Andy. Ideally, how many sessions a week would you want to be upping it at that level, at that age group?
I'd say even 2. Anyway, definitely, definitely minimum 2. And I suppose even the weeks you have a game, it's no harm, if it's one session a game, but weeks that you don't have a game, I would say 2. Look, Emer, it doesn't have to be sessions like, 1 hour or 2 hours long. It can be anything from 45 minutes, 1 hour, 1 hour 10. Like, I suppose if you have your session set up that it's flowing, they're getting lots of touches in the ball, it's a ball between 1 and 2. There's no reason why you couldn't train twice a week for 45 minutes, 1 hour. Definitely not. Definitely not. And it all depends, I suppose, as well, like what time of year as well. Like maybe they're getting loads of games. Maybe it's in the middle of championship. There could be, I know what the fixtures could be sometimes playing a Wednesday, playing Saturday. But, you'd be really looking to tailor it if it's, Tuesday, Friday, whatever. Maybe a game for Sunday. Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because we were thinking of maybe just doing some basketball in the sports hall over the weekend.
Perfect.
So,
yeah.
Rather than bringing them out on the pitch, maybe once, even twice a week, but maybe once a week might be enough.
Yeah, perfect. And the way with the whole thing now, like in this time of year and weather and stuff like that, like that's ideal for handling as well. And it's probably something that in the GA that we're stuck in. It has to be Gaelic football. It has to be not at all. It's like that works on their physical fitness, obviously, it works on their handling. It's getting your kind of group together as well, too, which it might be seeing each other. If you weren't organising your basketball there, you were like, I suppose it might be seeing each other only from school and are even holding a ball in their hand or getting a bit of handling. So definitely, yeah, brilliant idea. Very good.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Conor McChrystal, question there?
Conor, yeah, work with.
Andy, can you give me some ideas about non-contact?
Just Conor, I think your volume or mic's not on properly. Say I can just about hear you. I don't know if it's the earphones or the mic or what, but I can just barely hear you.
That better?
Slightly.
Hello?
Yeah, that's better, yeah.
Yeah. Can you suggest some non-contact stuff we can do over the next few weeks, Andy?
Like even what Ian was saying about the basketball, like that's generally non-contact as well too, well, to kind of certain degree as well. With the physical fitness as well too, our push exercises, our pull exercises, push-ups, pull-ups, our squats, our lunges, our planks, again, but to ensure there's there is kind of proper technique as well too. Even just like even basic handling, even like a ball, a wall. I know it sounds silly, but that's also non-contact as well too. Like what I've kind of started doing in schools maybe now too. Like, and again, bits of games of kind of over the river and no man's land, working or kicking or catching, football rounders, non-contact, lots of running in it, lots of handling, lots of catching, lots of kicking. Them sort of things as well too. Like, but if you are kind of stuck for any way ideas, like do drop us a wee email. But thinking outside the box there as well, like even a ball on a wall and stuff like that. But definitely at that age group as well too, like with the home exercises there too, your push and pull exercises. There's no reason why 20 minutes maybe most evenings they could be at that as well too. Yeah.
Yeah, in terms of that age group, do you think there's a need to do much running with that age group?
Well, look, if you're out in the pitch, like, and if your session set up properly there, like if you're playing small-sided games there, like yourself there, if you're playing 2 minutes of a small-sided game, a 4v4, after 2 minutes there's plenty running in that. I don't think we tailor our sessions enough to maybe work on that as well too. We think it's football and it's whatever, and for physical fitness we have to run them. Not at all. Like it's in the small sided games there, definitely like there can be lots of work done there as regards physical fitness, without a doubt.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Conor. Anyone else there? Just any other questions or queries or?
Just on Conor's point there as well, folks, we will get some documents out to this whole group who was on the webinar this evening of some non-contact training, be that bodyweight exercises, ball skills, maybe wee challenges you can do with them too to keep kids engaged over the winter time, maybe when you're not going to see them as much, or obviously over the next few weeks if we probably won't be able to bring groups together and stuff like that. So we'll get some content out over tomorrow morning and Thursday morning as well to this webinar group too.
I actually do think as well too that like these lads and girls are at an age now, they're 12, 13, like they want to be challenged and they want variation. It's no more than us playing football as well too, or whatever. I'm finished playing now, but you nearly get sick of doing the same thing the whole time. Now, not straying away from what you're working on. Okay, if you want to work on moving the ball quick, obviously keep working on that there, but vary your games and drills. So it's not always warm-ups in the far corner of the field here and Jack House's hand pass drill and then we do the kick pass drill, and it's so boring. They want to be challenged. They want variation. So in your sessions, plan it that they are being challenged and there's lots of variation. Okay, that's one thing I would say. And obviously, don't get away from the whole spotting and fixing as well too. You know, it's probably, people think it's so easy to coach now. You can go online now. We're after showing you there's oceans of stuff, any amount of stuff. But it's, can you spot and fix the kick pass that's going up in the air the whole time? The hand pass going at the feet the whole time. Well, why is it going at the feet the whole time? You know, it's a poor execution. Okay, and can you spot and fix that? Because you're at an age now that, you know, if they can't fix that now, it's going to become incredibly hard for them to fix another year or two down the line. And then it's probably too late. Okay. Any other questions before we wrap it up there? Nothing at all. There's probably, as I said, if you have a question there, there's probably 3 or 4 more thinking the same. So don't be afraid to shout out.
Or even if you haven't got a question, or maybe you're not comfortable asking, you can email us emailing it on.
Of course, yeah.
We'll put the email links up on Twitter then as well, for if anyone wants to send on any information or wants any information sent out. That's no problem at all.
I know that was kind of short and sweet there, but just we're kind of conscious a lot of these kind of run overtime and stuff like that. So about 30 minutes there, 35 minutes. So if that's okay, we'll leave it at that if there's no one else. Okay, thanks very much, folks, and see you shortly, hopefully. Okay.
Hopefully next month night we'll have another one to go again. We'll get the details out tomorrow morning on that, and get everyone hopefully back on again next Monday night.
Perfect. Okay, cheers. Thank you.
Thanks very much, folks.
Right.